What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hockey Talk with Dylan Griffing. How we feeling about it? How are we feeling about it? Because we should be feeling excited. The Stanley Cup semifinals are going on right now. Tonight, we got a pretty dang good game going on. But first, let's introduce our guest. I've called him the GOAT of hockey on this show before. Does content for EP Ringside. Dylan, no eye roll on that. It's a true compliment, my friend. A man who thinks that the Montreal Canadiens are going to win tonight. This is going to be a crazy game. I'm excited. Dylan, shout out for you coming on the podcast again. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Griffing Dylan. Follow EP Ringside as well. That's the place Dylan does content for. Dylan, how the hell are you today, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk some hockey. And even though I'm not the GOAT, I still know what I'm talking about sometimes.
Dylan, I think you know what you talk about most of the time. But I want to start off with last night, man. At Nassau Coliseum, it was rocking in there. Tampa Bay Lightning go up 2-0, and I don't know how you felt about this, Dylan, but I was like, this thing looks over to me. Especially coming off of that Game 5 where Tampa won 8-0, I believe it was. I thought this series was over. Give credit to the New York Islanders. They have not given up all playoffs. They have continued to fight. Matt Barzal played huge. Anthony Beauvillier obviously scoring the overtime goal. It was a huge game last night at Nassau. Dylan, what were your thoughts on that? And who do you have in Game 7 of this series and why?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the Islanders to come back. Obviously, Tampa lost Kucherov due to injury. Missed in the first period. Didn't come back for the second. So that was obviously a big loss for them. I don't know how New York is doing it, but they're pushing on through this series. Braden Point has been elite for Tampa. A goal in his last 9 games or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, he's on fire. The whole Tampa team looks good, but I mean, their defense looks shaky. Victor Hedman doesn't look very good. Vasilevsky looks great in net though, so I mean, they have him to fall back on. The Islanders, their power play is just terrible right now. Really lacking the coaching, the players to make it a good power play.
Right. But
I mean, they're sneaking these wins out. They're a team that everyone says is just built for the playoffs because they have these gritty players, the third and fourth line with players who are going to get up all in your face. And then Barry Trotz is known for putting together playoff teams to make runs out of nothing. If they can, once again, sneak one past Tampa, I think they could end up winning the Game 7. It's really tough to predict this series just because how going from a game that was what was the last one, like 7-0?
I think it was 8-0 Tampa Bay. Yeah,
they completely blew them out, and then next game Tampa goes and blows a 2-0 lead. Islanders win it 3-2 in overtime. So going from a game like that to a game where they can't hold that 2-0 lead, what does that mean for the next one? Well, are they going to, if they get that advantage again, are they going to be able to hold it? Or are they going to get complacent? Is Kucherov going to play? All these questions. I think the Islanders could sneak through one.
So, Dylan, I have the same kind of feeling about this series as you do. Going into it, I know these teams played last year, I believe, in the same type of semifinal game to go to the Stanley Cup, and I believe Tampa won that series in 6 last year. That is what I predicted. Before the series started, I thought Tampa would win this in 6 games, most likely. I still think Tampa wins this series. I just think with how good Vasilevsky's playing, and the fact that they have home ice, I'll tell you this: Nassau Coliseum, Dylan, is one of the greatest home advantages I've seen in a very long time. I mean, those fans were rocking all the way from puck drop to the end of the game last night. And when Beauvillier put that goal in, I thought the roof was going to go off that place. It was absolutely unbelievable. And I agree with you. I think that I found it hard to believe as well that Tampa was going to come off of an 8-0 win and then grab a 2-0 lead. I figured they would close the deal. I believe one of the NBC Sports Network broadcasters brought that up as well. I'm not sure who it was that brought it up, but one of them said in the intermission when Tampa was up, up 2-0 or 1-0 or whatever, they said that this series, the Islanders need to take this game back before it's too late. And give the Islanders credit. They took the game back and they won it. Obviously, Nikita Kucherov is going to be a big question mark heading into Game 7. I think, Dylan, me and you both agree. Kucherov is definitely one of the better NHL players. He's a very elite scorer. Every time I watch him, I just, the puck always seems to find his stick when it needs to. But yeah, Braden Point's been on a roll too. Give him credit. I think he's going to keep this roll going, and I think Tampa's going to squeak out of here and make it back to the Stanley Cup Finals. But Dylan, let's go Vegas, Montreal now, man. We have a lot to talk about. Tonight is Game 6. Vegas is favored -135 at the moment. Dylan, you were on Montreal tonight, is that correct?
Yes,
why do you think Montreal will win this game?
Well, to say I think Montreal is going to win is maybe not true, but I'm heavily pushing for them to win. You look at like the team that they have put together, and you look at the defense first of all. And you see guys like Joel Edmondson, Ben Chirot, just not players you think of when you're thinking of a Stanley Cup final defense. And then just a bunch of plugs like Eric Gustafson, John Merrill. And then you put Carey Price behind them. And when he's in this elite playoff form, it's like, who cares what your defense looks like? He'll just stop everything. Yeah. The forward core is just working together very well. Obviously, Gallagher, Deneau, everyone they have, Suzuki, Kokanami, Caulfield, even that fourth line with Perry, Stahl, Armia. Everyone on that forward core is just buzzing right now. And I mean, they're up 3-2 in the series. Game 6, they win, they're through the final. They shouldn't have made this kind of run. Their team is not good really on paper. If you're looking forward to next year, it's like, are they even going to make the playoffs? And well, probably not really. But right now, everything's clicking. They've won 3 games against the Vegas Golden Knights, who once they knocked out the Colorado Avalanche, everyone was like, okay, this is our team for the Stanley Cup. They're going to make it. They're going to blow past Montreal. But they're struggling big time. They're obviously, the goalie situation in Vegas right now is weird. They're switching through Fleury and Lehner. When they brought Lehner for the last game, everyone was mad. Fleury had that terrible save attempt against Colorado, and I was like, oh boy, he's falling back down to earth on that Brandon Saad shot from like against the wall, where just no way that's going in, and he lets it in. It's like, okay, maybe this guy is human. But he's back to being really good in that. The thing with Vegas is they just get a lot of shots that aren't going to trouble goalie for the other team. They just spam these shots that aren't really going to end up in the back of the net unless they get like a lucky bounce or something. So you have someone like Carey Price, and he's putting up these fantastic numbers, but the shots they take just aren't goal shots. So I don't know if they can beat Carey Price just taking those kind of shots, because they dominate the shot totals. I think it was like they were in the 40s while Montreal was still in they had 14 shots or something, and Vegas had in the 40s, and it was a complete blowout shot wise, but Vegas just takes terrible shots, and Montreal takes shots that count. So if they keep running with that, I think Montreal wins this game tonight.
So Dylan, another thing I noticed too, great points by the way. Loved a lot of what you said there. I am going to circle back to that Colorado Vegas point. But real quick, Vegas Golden Knights. They seem to start off the game slow, and then kind of find their legs, find their rhythm as the game goes on. I believe it was game 1 or game 2 where they were down 1 or 2-0, and then just, at second, third period, they rushed back, almost won the game. But I think that's a recipe for disaster. When you go down 1 or 2 goals against a team like Montreal with a goalie like Carey Price, who at the moment is playing like the best goalie in the NHL. He's one of the guys carrying this Montreal team, along with, as you mentioned, Corey Perry, and that fourth line have been huge for Montreal. They were huge in Game 5, especially Corey Perry. I felt like I heard his name 30, 40 times on the broadcast, Dylan. I like Vegas tonight. I do. And here's why. Alex Pietrangelo, man. This dude is playing out of his mind. Marc-Andre Fleury's been the best goalie all year. I expect him to show up tonight and have a great game. And Dylan, I think we're going to get another Game 7 here in the NHL playoffs, and it's going to be wonderful. I think it'll be a great game tonight. Very low scoring game. I would expect. I would expect maybe a 2-1, 3-2 type game. Maybe sprinkle a little overtime in there. Everyone loves overtime playoff hockey. But yeah, like you said, Dylan, I think Vegas, when they beat Colorado, I thought this was the Stanley Cup team. I thought this was a Stanley Cup team when they took on Minnesota, and then they fall down 2-0 to Colorado, and everyone's kind of like, kind of going back on Vegas, and then, Vegas obviously rattles off 4 straight, and wins that series. You got to give them credit for that, but I think that we're headed to a Game 7 here. I think Vegas is going to be ready to play. Pete DeBoer, he's going to have them boys buzzing tonight. I'll tell you this, Dylan. I would throw a name out there to have an impact tonight. I think Colasar of Vegas is going to have an impact tonight in some way. Make a good play, maybe get a goal, a key assist. I got a hunch. Colasar and Pietrangelo. Those are the 2 guys I think will have big games. But Pietrangelo, obviously, we all expect him to play well. But Colasar. That's the name I give to you, kind of a sleeper. What are your thoughts on that, man? You're kind of interesting, little there. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, he's just kind of a plug kind of guy. Goes onto the fourth line, kind of an AHLer. But I mean, you said it's going to be low scoring. I think Montreal's going to win 5-2. I think.
Ooh.
They're going to go up 3-2. Vegas is going to pull the goalie. They're going to get a quick empty netter. Vegas pulls the goalie again, and they get another empty netter, and then they win 5-2. I'm expecting a big game from Eric Gustafsson. He's playing former Blackhawk. That's why he just rips it from the point. But I mean, if you're looking for like a player who's going to show up big time, it's going to be Cole Caulfield. He's gonna score at least 1. Nick Suzuki's going to assist it. He's very cooking him. He's going to score. It's going to be great. Everyone's going to love it. Montreal's to the final. 5-2.
Okay. Dylan's got 5-2. I'm gonna go with 3-2 Vegas. Dylan, it's so hard to pick these games. Because I think every game in this Stanley Cup semifinal, there was never a game where I really felt confident about a team winning. I felt like, New York has been so good on the road in Game 1. Felt like they could steal one from Tampa. They did. Montreal has been so good in these playoffs. I felt they could steal 1 or 2 from Vegas at home. Sure. But I just think that the experience of the Vegas Golden Knights is going to come out tonight, and it really has to. I think that this team is destined to make a cup run. Now I will say Game 7 will be Saturday at 7, and it'd be one for the ages because these Montreal boys, anytime you think they're done, they just keep going. They're very similar to New York, the New York Islanders. But Dylan, let me ask you this: so far throughout the semifinals, who is the player that has impressed you the most between New York, Tampa, Montreal, and Vegas? Who's the player that has impressed you the most?
I mean, it's got to be Braden Point, right? He's been incredible. I mean, it's not new for him though, so I guess
No,
it's not really impressive as much as it is kind of expected at this point.
right.
For him to just be insane in the playoffs. Other than that, I mean, Nick Suzuki, Jesperi Kotkaniemi for Montreal, having those as your second line, third line centers has been great for them all playoffs. They were key in that 3-1 comeback against Toronto. They were key players in the sweep against Winnipeg.
Yep.
They've been great so far against Vegas. Every time the Canadians are playing, it seems like one of the two is making a big impact. And then obviously when you have players like Caulfield on their wings, it's just so fun to watch them play. That everyone just links up super well on that team. So I think Nick Suzuki for me would probably be the most impressive player for these four teams.
Well, I agree with your Braden Point. I mean, this guy has been unbelievable in the playoffs so far. But I'm gonna go Matt Barzal, man. I was watching, I think it was game 4, and Barzal doesn't always put together the most on the stat sheet, but he's just that emotional team leader for them. I feel like when he's on the ice, they're always skating a little bit faster. Eddie Olczyk had mentioned that as well, on the broadcast of, I believe, Game 6 last night, and how Barzal is just playing out of his mind. I would say I agree with you on Nick Suzuki. I think if you could go with another one too, you'd go with Corey Perry. I've been really impressed with him. I know he played in Anaheim back in the 2013, 14, 15 when they consistently made the playoffs, and he was very impressive then. And now I think he's kind of taken in that veteran fourth line role, and he's really shining in that role. Like you said, Dylan, I think this team is really buzzing. Playing together a lot is what I would say. They got good team chemistry, all that. So I think that's huge. Now, Dylan, so with that being said, who do you have winning the Stanley Cup out of these four teams? Who do you think gets it done?
Tough is you're looking at. I feel like if Montreal wins tonight, the Islanders are winning their next game, just so we could have that weirdest matchup possible. And then I feel like if Vegas wins tonight, Tampa's winning, and then Vegas is winning the series, and we're getting Tampa Vegas, which is what the expected.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no way it's gonna be Montreal against Tampa or the Islanders against Vegas. So my pick is gonna be the Montreal Canadiens because I think they're gonna win tonight. I think the Islanders are winning against Tampa, and I think Montreal is gonna win that series in 5 games.
Really?
Yeah.
So I agree with a lot of what you said. So Dylan, let me ask you, why would you say if Vegas wins, is there like a matchup that these teams are kind of gunning for, or what goes into that? When you say if Vegas wins tonight, Tampa's going to win, what makes you say that?
It's just a gut feeling. Like it
Okay.
feels like we're either going to get the 2 underdog teams or we're going to get the 2 big teams to match up. I don't know. It just feels right to me. Like I can't see it going any other way. And I know beginning of the year, I called Montreal my underdogs first episode of
Yeah.
Hockey Talk. I called Montreal the
did.
underdogs.
You
And
did.
look how far they've come. Yeah. So I mean, I gotta push for them to be right. It's my goal to always be right. So I think Montreal's gonna do it. And I think they're playing the Islanders. I think they're winning in 5.
Dylan, you're a smart man. You are.
I know.
I'm sadly gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I don't know how you go against the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially Braden Point. And Vasilevsky, man, he's been unbelievable. Honestly, I think Vegas wins the night. I don't know who wins this series. My gut feeling tells me if it gets to 7, Vegas will get it done because they're at home. That's my gut feeling. So I'll go with that. I'll go with Vegas and Tampa. Go with the 2 big dogs, and I'll take the Tampa Bay Lightning to repeat as champions. I just think this team's too deep, Dylan. I just think this team is way too deep, man. But what were you gonna say?
You said you sadly disagreed with me, but I feel like you're more reasonable with disagreeing. I feel like I'm the one that's like out there because there's no way Montreal, the 4th seed from the North, barely snuck into the playoffs, came back to 1 against against Toronto. They shouldn't have won that series. Then they played Winnipeg, who they kind of just blew through because Winnipeg is not good. And then it's like, oh, okay, now they're playing Vegas. No way they can win this series now, right? But I mean, they're up 3-2. But still, it's like, okay, they lose the next game, and it's all of a sudden it's 3-3. Then they're playing, then the best team in the league, or one of the best teams in the league. And it's like, well, are they really gonna win this game? And then it's all of a sudden Vegas are through, and it's like, so I'm the one that's crazy here. You're more level-headed with your predictions. So you don't have to sadly disagree with me. But I mean, you should be sad when you're wrong and I'm right, and Montreal in the cup.
Well, see, Dylan, here's the thing, man, is honestly, whatever Stanley Cup final we're gonna get, I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna talk about it, all the above. Like, but I'll tell you this, man. I got family in Tampa. If they watch this and I don't pick the Lightning, man, feel like they might be a little upset with me, man. So I gotta go Tampa. And dude, here's the thing, man. I've said it all year. I thought Vegas was gonna come out of their side of the bracket. I thought they would play Boston. The boys let me down, man. But it's okay. And then we'll see what happens. But Tampa's my pick. We'll see if I'm right. Probably won't be, but who knows?
But I know that you're just doing it to please your family. It's gonna be wrong, and you're gonna miss out on. You're gonna miss the chance to be right just because you don't want people to get mad at you. I get it.
Well, no, see, I do think Tampa actually wins. But even if I didn't, still don't want to pick against them, bro. I didn't need my cousin to be mad at me, man. I don't. I don't need him to be mad at me. Hey, if Tampa Bay fans, if you guys are watching this, make sure to like the video, type a little comment in there. Thanks for voting for Tampa.
But Brett, remember like before the stream started, you're telling me like, oh man, I'm a huge Islanders fan. You showed me your collection of Islanders jerseys, and you're like, Tampa. You were telling me how much you didn't like Tampa, and I was like, "Whoa!" Now you're switching up on me like this just to please your family, to make it look like you don't actually hate them. I gotta respect it, I guess.
Well done. I actually think Tampa wins. Like that's what I think. So I'm going with what I think, man. My head and my heart say Lightning. So I'm going to go Lightning. By the way, I'm not an Islanders fan. I will say, though, Nassau Coliseum, pretty fun place. Looks and sounds like. But Dylan, before we get you out of here, 2 questions for you. One, is Connor McDavid going to be an Edmonton Oiler for years to come? And number 2, any new content dropping from you throughout since we had you on last?
Will Connor McDavid be an Oiler in the coming years? Tough. His contract's huge. There's no way Edmonton wins a McDavid trade. But I mean, and watching him again in the Winnipeg series, how miserable he was. Every time Winnipeg scored a goal, they cut over to Connor McDavid on the bench, and he'd just be sitting there like, it's just, you got to feel bad for him. He's the best player, like, probably ever, really. He's the most skilled player ever. But what will Edmonton take in a trade? Because you can't win the trade. There's no feasible way. No matter how many picks, no matter how many players you get back, you're not winning a McDavid trade. And then the cap hit, they're gonna have to retain on him at least a little bit, because he'd want to go to a good team, I'd imagine. I don't think he'd force his way out and then accept a trade to the Detroit Red Wings or something like that, just because they can afford him. But I mean, if a team with the stature that can draw McDavid there, a team that has the assets to give up, that aren't just going to destroy their team, their future, everything, like, because if you trade for McDavid and you trade so much, you're just going to turn into the Edmonton Oilers, because now you have McDavid, then you have that maybe one other good forward, and then the rest of them are just going to be the plugs that you need to, because you're out of cap space. And so it's difficult, but I mean, if he can force his way out, it's going to be huge.
That'd be huge news, dude.
Yeah, it'd be the biggest thing. Right now, it's the Eichel saga that's going on right now. The McDavid saga is going to be massive.
Bigger.
Yeah, much bigger. And then for new content, the Elite Prospects draft guide is dropping. I believe it got delayed to next Monday now. So that's going to be coming out soon. But other than that, I've just been finishing up my work for this year. Going to move on to the 2022 draft after in a few months. So that's exciting. Ready to be done with this year's draft, because it's not quite as good as most, and especially for the players I cover in my region, there's not a lot to talk about. So I'm ready for change.
Dylan, that sounds awesome, man. I'm always hyped to check out, what you're working on, what Elite Prospects Ringside's working on as well. They actually followed me back on Twitter, I think, so that's pretty dope. But yeah, dude, I always appreciate you coming on, man. Always giving great insight into hockey. Always giving great insight into everything, man. Always ripping on me for some of the hockey takes, even though some of them aren't the best. I know. But, Dylan, I'm not a hockey guru like you are, man. I'm not the goat of hockey either like you are. So, there's levels to this, man. There's levels.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're getting there. You're putting the work. I respect it.
I'm trying, dude. But
you don't see Islander fans like you so often. You're a rare breed.
I'm not an Islanders fan, Dylan. I was pissed, dude. They knocked out Boston, man. I was rooting for Boston, man.
Yeah, you were rooting for Boston. Wink, wink. You were.
I was.
Oh yeah.
I was. Dude, I was. I literally.
Lying to your family just so you look like you're a Tampa fan. I mean, it's a bad look. I mean, if we're being honest here, it's not a good look. I can't respect being a liar. I said I could respect saying that you like Tampa just so they wouldn't hate you, but I mean, it's gone too far here.
What's wrong with liking Tampa, though?
Well, you don't like Tampa. You like the Islanders. You're lying to them.
I don't like the Islanders.
You're putting your own show to shame by lying in front of all of your fans. You're gonna get canceled on Twitter for being a fraud.
Yeah, I'm not an Islanders fan.
You're an orange fan. What's with all the orange?
It's red.
It looks orange. It looks pretty orange.
It's red, bro.
It looks orange to me.
It's red. It's red. It's red. Look. It's red.
I don't know.
With the light, it looks orange with the light, but if I turn the light off, it would be better. But Dylan, thank you for coming on the show. Stand by after for a little bit. We'll talk about some things. I hope y'all enjoyed the newest episode of Hockey Talk with the man himself, Dylan Griffin. Video should be uploaded very shortly here. I'll start working on it when I'm done talking with Dylan. Make sure to enjoy the game tonight. Check it out. If you guys want to see another episode of Hockey Talk, comment down below. Also, comment down below what you guys thought of the video, like the video, and always subscribe to the channel. Also, every moment matters. Peace out.